So here we are doing T and bar registration. I start with a ruler and a very sharp pencil, and I will make a mark on the back of one of my sheets of paper, the halfway point. So this particular sheet of paper is 10 inches wide, and so I'm making a mark at the 5-inch mark. Sharp pencil, very important. So now I take the rest of my paper, all from the back. I can stack them together and then fan them out. So here's my stack of sheets all fanned out, and you'll notice that there is a mark on the one sheet that we marked just a moment ago. I'm going to take my ruler, I'm going to line it up. I'm going to try to bisect that line. I'm going to try to make it as accurate as possible. You see there and there on my ruler, and then right down as if it was a staircase. I'm going to pick up my sheets of paper and I'm going to fan them out in the other direction. So what you're going to see in a second is I'm going to repeat that process on the left-hand side of my paper. And there it is. And they've all been jogged down to the bottom, nice and accurate, but we still have that same sheet of paper we started with. There's our two marks. So the ruler again, and a sharp pencil, and that ruler's right on top of the line. It's kind of a weird angle with the camera, but anyways, there you go, down the left side. And now I just turn my sheets to the side, and I'm going to make a little tick. Basically, if you think of each of these little ticks as the cross member in a lowercase t. So this is the back of my sheet, and that's the lowercase t. So we're on the light table now, and I've got my one sheet of paper and my plate, the first plate, and I have it on the light table, and I decide on the position of my image. I can see through it, which is excellent. And I take my ruler, and I'm going to do the exact same thing. I'm going to line up my ruler. I'm going to bisect my very sharp pencil lines. Take my X-Acto knife, and very gently, I'm going to score the plate. Now these plates are polyester or plastic. You don't want to cut all the way through, and if you do, it's not the end of the world. It's okay. But ideally, you want to just score the surface, because scoring the surface means that no ink or water will pass through the plate when you're printing, but you'll have raised a bit of a furrow on the plastic, and as a result, ink will collect there, so that when you start printing, you'll be able to see where your T and your bar are, and as a result, line up your carefully T and barred paper. So you can see I made marks on both sides, and then one up and down on the T side. So I'm taking my pencil, and from the side of my pencil, I'm gently running over top of, on the right-hand side, my capital T, and on the left-hand side here, my bar. The pencil won't affect anything later on in the printing, and in fact, we're going to erase it shortly. But what it does is it allows us to see those very, very sharp T and bar lines we made with our knife just a second ago. And so now I take my second plate, and I spend as much time as I need on the light table with my translucent plates lining up plate number 2 on top of plate number 1. There's some strategy to this, and at times you may have to start with a different plate first, but in any event, you're always setting the registration on a given plate and then setting the subsequent plates from that one. You're never setting 1 to 2 and 2 to 3, 3 to 4 and 4 to 5 and so on, because that's where inaccuracies start to creep in. But what you can see there, and you've now seen this a couple of times, I've got the ruler, I'm looking through my plates and I'm lining it up with the T and bar on plate number 1, and very carefully, again trying not to cut all the way through if I can manage it, I'm transferring my T and bar marks. Once I'm done with this, I'm going to pick up my plate and set it aside. If I have plate number 3 and plate number 4 and so on, I'll continue to do this. Now keep in mind, I only need to put pencil on that very first plate because that's the one that I need to be able to see through. These other ones do not need any pencil marks, and when you start printing, the ink will collect in the T and bar and you'll be able to see where they are. And so now I take my handy little eraser, my nice white eraser, and erase the pencil marks, and they disappear. And when we get a closer look on the plate, you can see ever so slightly a T and a bar, and you're all set.